Always remember who you are, my God, and be strong in whatever persona you're taking on. Be strong in that. Are you there?
Yeah.
And my best teddy bear sitting in my favorite chair. We are going out to play just like every day. I got lots of friends out there, and they're lots of fun.
Mm-hmm. Definitely along like this concept of equilibrium, which I think we talked about, that being the word, but just like the balance that doesn't exist in the world. I think I'm like trying to find it in this music, trying to find like a sense of balance. It's interesting how when people hear your personal story, they reflect on their own. It's like, that's why I gotta make it personal.
My name is Elizabeth Lockery.
Elizabeth. Elizabeth.
What's the name again? Elizabeth. You can't forget. I bet they call you Elizabeth.
Bye, darling.
What is this, the actual interview with both of us
I'm
here?
just gonna talk.
General.
Oh, okay.
I'll be giving you
Who's the interview?
questions. I'm gonna be.
Oh, you're the interviewer.
So this is the actual interview?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I'm blessed.
Daisy. No, Elizabeth, the water is too cold. Oh, the water is too cold. You want to touch the water? Shoo up. It's too cold. Shoo up.
And we put a little voice note of my mom off the top, which is cute. The reasoning behind that is my mom just be preaching sometimes. she really is like a motivator at heart. Sometimes I wish I could like tune it out, but then when I don't have that in my life for long enough, I'm like, I want it back. And I have these voice notes of just things that she has said, both the triggering and the encouraging. This just has some of those like little encouraging moments. Where is this start? This is start.
Yeah. That's what you need to do. Always remember who you are as a person. Who you are as a person.
This is my mama. Mom.
He said, when you build your house on the rock, the storms will come and it will stand. It will be able to withstand the storms. Because you are made of stuff that cannot be shaken. You get it?
That was the train of thought. It's a Thursday and it's June. And we are here at the Grotto working on my debut album today. And we have been for what feels like the last 7 years.
My name is Kevin Oliver Lockery. I was born in Ireland, Irish background, born in County Kildare, but immigrated to Canada back about, I think about 50, 60 years ago, something like that.
I'm Patricia. The last name, of course, is Lockery. And I am, of course, the proud mom.
What matters in the end is how I declare myself, so I say holy, colossal, complicated, impossible, leaping, free. May the ancestors be pleased, and may we never forget to say their names.
As I think about what I'm hearing, I would say Farna Yalam was Winches Shamisha, is Dovri Shin, Hamalart Tabakiam Diruk. For those of you that don't speak Gaelic, that means that I'm a man who does not hide his thoughts, and therefore I will speak out openly. Whatever I say about Elizabeth may be true, but it also may not be true. So as we go forward, I hope I can contribute to this interview and make sure we talk about our background and our heritage.
What do you think about the poem?
Well, that's a good start, a good setup to what we're about to do, right?
Look into the camera and say hello to everybody. How are you? How are you?
It's like hitting rewind on all of the days and years and memories that went into the creation process. I grew up hearing my mom sing in church. She was the worship leader at church, and then when I was 12 or 13, I mean, even younger than that, she used to drag me into it, and I'd be on stage singing with her. And then I started to actually play in church with her as well, and that was kind of like our ritual weekly, you know, getting those songs ready and rehearsing together. Her voice and the reason why she sang on that stage, it being bigger than just like a performance, but actually like pulling people into worship, you know, causing people to lift their hands or cry, or just that environment to me was something I remember looking around as a child and being like, wow, I want to be a part of this. You know, whether it was that like spiritual pull or the music itself, I think it was probably a bit of both. I remember being like, one day I'm gonna be old enough to lift my hands and catch the spirit too. And then eventually I got older and did that with her. And my dad can barely clap in time, but he can play a mean harmonica. His expertise is more so on the music business side, so he's always trying to put on a show. And he's always trying to bring people together and make money off this thing. He's always trying to turn it into a business, which I really appreciate because, you know, we gotta eat. So, yeah, two very different perspectives, but both perspectives I'm grateful for. First things first, where did my voice come from mom or dad?
Do you really? I don't know if I could.
I would have to say that my only real musical ability, which I learned as a young man, was to play the harmonica. But my voice, even the chickens ran away. So, no, I think we'd leave the sample out. I think Elizabeth's voice, although there are people within my family who have been gifted in the musical world with their voices, I'm not one of them, but my wife indeed is one. She has a brilliant voice and you know, sings beautiful, and you know, I attribute her gifting, Elizabeth's gifting, to that side of the family.
I know that it I feel, but still I deny.
Oh my God.
And I go, although that we had to pay. I hear every single time, and I'm scared, but I will not compromise. I'm strong, but still I can break. And I care a little too much at times. If I'm wrong, I own my mistake.
Well, you were playing like some really cool Spanish riffs before. I think that would be a really nice layer too. Like what, like this? Like these ones.
You know, my friends call call me X. But my name is actually Adrian.
Yeah, like those ones. Yes.
It's been 10 years since Adrian and I started working together. From the very beginning, Adrian offered me a safe space to be myself. And I was still figuring out who I was and what I liked. And I remember he gave me a hard drive of all this incredible music, and he was like, listen to all of this. Take this in, see what you're inspired by, and let's create from there. You know, I was able to really figure out what I like here in this house at the grotto.
And then I was like, all right, now let's actually play like a bass line. So
now it's documented on camera that you played the bass.
That is not for the video. Cedric played bass.
That's Cedric right there. That's Cedric.
What's your role in the creation process of the album, Elizabeth?
I helped make this record with you. We were like a producer, executive producer, you know? Helped create some sounds. We did a bunch of things. But yeah, we just helped make this record.
Broken facades, it's been overkill. Constant barrage, but I need the real. Just give me a second, it's time to heal. Can you hear me?
I don't know that I believe in reincarnation personally when it comes to the afterlife, but I believe in different incarnations of ourselves within this one, within this life. I think this is a new incarnation of myself, of my artistry, where in the past there were some added layers, you know, that felt true to me in the moment, almost like alter ego moments, ways to express, I think, things that I don't as easily embody in a day-to-day way, but through my art, I felt like I could embody them. Whereas with this project, it's very much like just who I am on a day-to-day basis. You haven't heard everything in its like entirety yet, but this is like what the first song on the record would be.
Wow. So during the creation of the album, during the pandemic, I really took that time to kind of make it like a research project. That looked like diving into my lineage and asking questions to my ancestors and the people who are still alive, who have these stories. It's such an incredibly valuable resource to have family around who can enlighten us as to what our lineage is and just tell those stories so that I can then tell them to future generations too, and, you know, remind my niece and nephew who they are and where they come from. I think what surprised me about that whole process is the healing that took place in me as a result of that awareness that I gained. But beyond that, the healing that I think I witnessed in my mom and in the people around me, in my immediate family, when I was able to share that information with them and turn it into this embodiment of art. You know, from listening to the music more, to cooking the food more, to telling those stories themselves. I think I'm noticing like a familial healing that is much bigger than me. That to me is the only accolade that I actually need.
There's talent, I mean, to be drawn from each side, I think. Our lineage is I think, there. That would trace the history of, you know, of where Elizabeth has gotten that gift. From my side of the family,
it's been a musical family. My father was a singer. Growing up as a child, my father sang. Of course, my mother was the singer and the dancer, but my father also sang, and I remember his voice like it was yesterday as well.
I didn't get to really know my grandmother because she passed away when I was 6. She was a pioneer for the arts in Trinidad. She was an Indian dancer and a vocalist. And to me, the most incredible thing about her was through interview footage, just seeing how she advocated for women in the arts at a time when women really stayed home and raised the family, if not working out on the plantation like her mom did in cane fields.
Since then, we have been exploited all the time. Singing, dancing, radio, whatever you can think about. Yeah.
You never got paid properly and so on?
No, what they give you those days was a $20 or a $25, send transportation for you. Oh.
There's quotes about her saying, that being transparent about the fact that she wasn't paid sustainably for her work.
Champa, you were the first stage dancer in Trinidad, right?
Yes.
Around what time was that?
1943.
There's quotes, of her explaining how she wasn't really valued as an artist compared to the men around her, and the fact that she just did it for the love of the art.
The attitude was, was terrible. The stigma that we Indian people carry about dancers those days. And I think it's still existing today.
But what made you able to ignore that attitude or break it down or what?
Well, my love for the art. I think that was my first love, really. So I didn't care what anyone said about it.
To go through everything that she went through and say that she's just doing it for the love makes me question, why do I do it then? It's for the love, but it's also because she couldn't, everything that she had to give up just for life itself. But a pioneer in the arts nonetheless, that history hopefully is going to be preserved through sharing their stories as much as I possibly can. And
did you make a living out of dancing?
Living out of dancing, that's really something.
I didn't realize what I'd become. I have been held by generations.
So it's like, I think Elizabeth's background has been steeped in the richness of music, sound, and sounds that were so varied. Irish, the classics, calypso. It's just like, the West Indian, the Irish, the Bollywood influence, it's all been there. And I don't know if I'm going ahead of myself, but I think this entire album is a reflection of exactly what that is. Even honing into your Bollywood and that heritage, which has come from my mother, is I think very obvious. Expressing the value, the worth of what ancestry is all about, what parenting is all about, what grandparents are all about.
It's just kind of like what goes on in my head. It's a way of getting it out, so it doesn't have to live there all the time. But I think it's a chapter and a phase musically that is really true and authentic to where I am today, which is a place of hope, of a little bit of exhaustion, but also a solid amount of anticipation for good things to come. But it's acknowledging that we've all been through a lot. So I hope people just find hope in the music too. Really I think generations is our focus.
So we'll just focus on that.
Is that him right now?
We made this one at my cottage, like 2 years ago, maybe?
2 years ago, maybe.
What's sick about making things at my cottage is it's like all nature vibes, no technology, don't even have Wi-Fi. So like being there to make these, like this feels like it came from the earthiest place, like real roots.
That's Tara over there, of course, all wrapped up in a blanket. And it's a cooler day. Actually, it's coming down to the close of cottage country time, and it's unfortunate that this is our very first time on film. But however, at least Elizabeth would have had her herself videoed for this time in her life. The next time we're down, of course, she'll be 2. But presently she's almost 20 months, a couple of weeks off.
It's an exciting phase to be in because I have the songs chosen, potentially even the singles chosen, and we're just really going through and seeing what's missing and pulling the strings together.
Having come, I think, full circle from the early days to the days we're in now, and seeing the evolution of Elizabeth, of Liz, and now of Lockery. It's just a really very exciting, extraordinary time, very unique.
When my youngest daughter decided to make music her career and committed to that, world of being an artist, a musician, a composer, a writer, a singer, to give her the support and the backing that she needed, we had to say, yeah, this is your life, this is what you want to do, and we've got to give you all the support you need. So I think that's when we came together as myself and Patricia to give support to Elizabeth as she chose this career and choose this calling in her life. I think if you're taking on a musical career, that you need those around you to support you, because it's not an easy life, it's not an easy world, it's not sudden success. It doesn't come like that.
Go on up, Elizabeth, go and get the bag. Go on up.
Back in the 70s, I bought a musical venue outside Dublin, and this became quite an attraction for the neighborhood that I was in. We had about seating capacity of about 600 people, and I hired various musicians and groups to play on a regular basis, 7 nights a week. At that time, a number of bands were just starting out. Some of them became quite famous down the road. Some played in Carnegie Hall, others went on to be members of U2. That's part of what happens in the music business. Some of the small bars that promote these artists, sometimes these artists make it and some don't. you know, I'm happy to say that it was a wonderful part of my life. Music, you know, hiring musicians, working with artists. And they're an amazing group of people. They're a very caring group. They're a group of people who are involved in the arts, but involved in humanity and understand humanity.
What is life? It's evolution. It's growing. It's a series of lessons that leads us to some kind of destination that we never actually reach or achieve, which can be the hard part. But then I guess it's about enjoying the journey.
The more me that I become, intuition I learn to trust. I am the sum of my inspirations. Why does everyone seem to be plagued by their insecurities? Seems we're caught in a great deception. I know that I cannot be replaced, so I don't have to feel what's mine is mine. That ain't gonna change. Am I making it clear there's no competition? This isn't a race. I'm doing my thing and holding my space, yeah. And I won't be erased, yeah. I know it's easy to forget. I may be broken, but I'm blessed, and I don't mind if the sun don't set.
We saw that your life was developing around this calling and what you were doing. There was never any fear. I mean, the only fear is that success brings fear. So in a way, I just think that one day we will see enormous success in what you're doing and gratification that you can look back on what you've done and say, hey, I've done this. It was my music. This is what I done.
It's mine. It's my album. It is my album. I wrote and recorded and assisted with the production.
And you tutored your daughter as well in dancing?
Yes, let me see, I started tutoring Pat at a very young age, 10 years, and she became a very fine dancer, imitator, films too, but the modern film dancing, you see. And let me see here that she was promised scholarships to India by government and by Professor Adesh, and I don't know who to call again, you know, and she never got them. So I decided, I mean, she became a young lady, and I said, well, you know, it's better you go as a very young person to India so you could, you know, you can move better than when you get a big woman. So I decided to migrate to America so I could work for money and so on, and send her myself personally, you know.
And did she go?
No, we had a tragedy. One of my sons got in an accident in Canada, and this is how now this tragedy has caused a lot in my family, really. That prevented her from leaving Trinidad and going to Canada, taking care of my son, and that is where she is right now.
I see. So you're now back home after how many years?
Well, no, I have been coming and going, because last year I lost a son here too. He died unexpectedly, just at 8, and I had to come. And I have been coming and going, you know. Yes.
Well, that's very interesting, and best of luck to you in the future.
Thank you very, very much. It's been a pleasure being interviewed, really.
Okay, thank you.
I don't think it was ever a question really as to your path, an alternative. I don't believe there was an alternative. If I could say anything at all, I think it was inevitable. And if you could not become, or if you could not explore this path, an avenue in your life, I don't think you would have been the kind of girl you are today, the kind of woman you have become and is still becoming. It wasn't a question, never in my mind that this is the path. And for me, it is a generational thing. It's like when I discovered my talent, my gift, there wasn't a question as to whether I should do it or not. I was put in that place and I just went with it. And so for you, I just saw that as something that was being passed down. Of the two daughters, you're the younger of the two. I saw that in you. You took that torch. My mother, she did blaze the trail way back when. And I mean, it was handed down to me. As my mother would always say, it was handed down to me. And now I can say that it's been handed down to you. So I think that's just the evolution of this lineage.
Inspired by the matrilineal connection between my mom and everything she sacrificed for me to be who I am. Culturally, it's the immigrant story, you know, everyone coming from somewhere to be here, to create the lives that, you know, us first generation Canadians are privileged to get to reap the rewards of.
And it's sounding like cinematic. It's sounding like an extension of my sound that I've shared before, but I think on a different level, on a different playing field for sure.
It started with reading up on some research. What notes are attached to different frequencies, because there's charts for all of these things. And then you can get even deeper, gets into color palettes, gets into like astrological business. And you're like, oh, this is all fun. Chakras too? Okay. Right? So there's lots of D's and F sharps and A's in your music. So I was like going into all these like charts and research on different chakras and feelings. And it's like, yo, you start like tuning everything into that. It was very cool. I had like this breakthrough of like nothing hurt my ears and it just like felt really good. You could turn it up really loud or like really quiet. You still heard what you're supposed to hear. It was very... So on the music, that's how deep it was getting, to match the vocals. You know what I mean? It's not just like, here's the song. A couple people played some parts. It was like, no, we were like, every track got edited to the fullest of frequency.
So when somebody hears a song and they say, wow, that feels healing, or like, wow, this calms my anxiety,
100%.
This energetically resonates with me on this level.
Self-talk is an F sharp. It's a very healing frequency. Check that one out.
There's a whole lot of work that goes down under the surface. In the words that no one's heard yet, I'll find my purpose. If I don't get the flowers and praise, then I deserve them. All I want is to look back and say, damn, it was worth it. I gave everything I had to moments that were mine. Thought that I'd be back, but only on my time. Oh, and the hardest one fights come with a price, but you won't ever find me on the sidelines. No.
What did you struggle with? Being like others, trying to be like your friends, and fitting in. I think that's what I think, you know, is always trying to fit in, and we don't always fit in. And we have to develop and discover that of ourselves, and be that expression of who we are. And as we go, as we grow, we ignite that fuel that charges and energizes us.
Today is Wednesday, and it's the day that we shoot the album cover.
Who I am, what I'm not. Thought I knew, then I forgot. Who I am, what I'm not. Thought I knew, then I forgot. Then I forgot. Up in my
You know, I think the whole entire project of exploring our
Applaud the grandmothers.
you know, exploring our lineage or looking into, you have to know where you've come from. I think that's important because they do say that what we do in our lives can affect down to the 7th generation after us. Your grandmother on my side was a particularly strong woman back when, 1916, when Ireland was in the throes of a civil revolution, when was basically there was a civil war, had just gained its independence from England. She was part of that movement and very strong in that movement. And, you know, we all have a background, we all have a heritage, we all have a lineage. And I think it's important that we understand who we were and what we've come from and where we're going, because I think it's something that affects us down the road.
To know where you're going, you gotta know where you come from. To know where you're going, remember that? So it's all connected, it's all really connected.
My parents moved to Canada from Jamaica. The immigrant story is very real. You know, when you think about it, I always say, you come from this little town in this little country and you travel to start a whole new life somewhere else. It's amazing. It's like incredible. And especially when it turns into a better life for not only yourselves, but your children, and then your children's children, and your children's children, you know what I mean, are getting married and doing all that. It's really incredible to think of the lineage.
Adrian, you are a hero, don't get me wrong. But Adrian's 90-year-old pops is in the room. He is really the hero in the room.
Yeah, mom and dad pushed the music on us. Everyone went to church, still goes to church, and all the rest of it. So that's where the good music starts. But they like music, so once you get the itch, can't stop it. Yeah.
You get the itch, you have to scratch.
You have to scratch. Yeah.
6, 7, 8. Got them diamonds, got no pearls. But still I think I'm a lucky girl. I got the sun in the morning and the moon at night. Something from nothing, something from nothing. If my mama ever told me one thing, it's how to make something from nothing.
So what's today?
Today is album release listening experience. Long time coming. It's pretty official. Posters for sale. Honestly, I feel like it's my wedding day. My wedding to myself. It's a broken down version of the songs, just so that the music is really the focus. Like acoustic instrumentation, backup vocals, because I really wanted to feel like church. You know, I wanted to feel like ceremonial and full and spiritual, because that's, I guess, really where the music came from. So,
welcome to the Lockery album release party event. We are going to start the show with the last track on the album, which is this incredible poem.
Let me be my own altar, my own temple, my own ritual, my own ceremony, my own answered prayer. Let my becoming be, let my magic be, let these songs be excitement.
It's like real art, you know what I mean? It's not just a bunch of songs thrown together type stuff. It's like me studying history my whole life and all the people who I think are amazing. When you read the story on how a great album is made, I think you went through all of those same procedures. Yeah. Which is why people really like it. It's like very, you know, it's deep, man, deep roots. Takes a while to dig down to like get the whole story, which is another thing. You've made like a timeless record, which is what we like to do around here. Music is ageless.
Facts.
Yeah, make stuff that's gonna be heard forever. You know what I mean? Like that's what this is. It's like our favorite songs are all like decades old.
Kind of just
Is
like
this all making sense for you?
slowly crushing it. You were made for this.
Okay, music break.
We're trying to work. We're trying to. Just a quick little trip to Saturn.
Okay. Nothing was surprising. It was all just like opportunity meets preparation.
Equals elevation.
Man, you had so many songs. It was hard to dwindle it down. Think about it. Yeah, it's just like, you know what I mean? Realizing if you put in the work over the years, which you do.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of history getting to work with you and sort of like the origin stories that you've always been a part of. You know, the history that you've witnessed in Toronto music, you know, with people starting with just like passion and a dream and then the come up story. So many really incredible artists that have like come from this city and made a life out of this. You know, you got to be a part of that origin story.
Oh, Granny would be overjoyed. I mean, Granny loved to sing herself. The culture in Ireland is one of music and singing, very much so. Even the family party, everybody is John McCormick. Everybody has to sing.
I always dreamed about making an album. I never knew what it would look like or what it would sound like, but to me, I always knew that it would be like a milestone chapter for me to say like, I did that, I created a whole body of work and I was confident enough to put it out there in the world and be vulnerable and honest about my story.
I give thanks for art. I give thanks for art. I give thanks for the vessel that it is to teach us who we are and to inspire others to step into their power as well. And that's what this album was for me, creating that. So I give thanks to the process. And the song is about being ready for love, but tonight I'm gonna say it's about being ready to embrace the multitudes of us. Bars.
It's just my hope that if it inspires anything in people, it's to do what you said you were gonna do. It's to own your story with pride, to remember the value of it, and to tell it as openly and honestly as you possibly can, because it has ripple effects that are so much bigger than us. You know, as difficult as it is, as uphill as it is to secure the resources and figure out all these details around how we're gonna get our story out as artists, it's worth it. And if you believe it enough, the resources will find you. So that's how I'm moving into this next chapter too.
You get on my nerves, always take it further than I deserve. My love, you don't reciprocate. Oh, I try to do everything right. When you're down, hold you up high. Promise there would be no goodbye. Did I catch you at the wrong time? I just wanna get the words right. It's impossible to read your mind.
Grandma were here, do you think she'd be proud, and what would she say?
Grandma would be proud. She would be elated. She would be, oh my goodness. I think it would be like, Elizabeth, can you sing for me? I think you'd be hearing that every so often. And especially with this project, oh, my mother probably would have added her voice to it too. Who knows?
I was not raised by soft women. Tongues like knives, voices wide like the sea. I was not raised by soft women. For every wound, salt is the remedy. No lightness in their tread, there's grit in her grace span. Flour pounded by ancient hands, presence that undeniably commands honor.
What would she say? She would say, that's my girl. She would say, Patricia, she's walking in your footsteps, just like I walked in my mother's footsteps. She would see that and recognize that for what it was.
I know it's easy to forget I may be broken, but I'm blessed and I don't mind if the sun don't set. I may not know what's coming next, but I know I'm loving it. The sun don't set. The world don't end. The sun don't set. The world don't if the sun don't set.
It's just joy and pride and gratitude, really, for the process and everything that it taught me about myself.
Love is looking over the edge and saying, it's gonna feel free before it hurts. It's looking directly into the sun and saying, it's gonna be bright before it burns. If I'm not scared, I will never fall, and if I don't dare, then I won't love at all.
Everything that it taught me about collaboration, Adrian, with the many people that were involved in the creation of the album. I feel like the album is like the foundational story of Lockery. It's the origin, it's the history, it's the skill level, the things that I'm passionate about. It's the years of training and becoming this woman that I am now.
Freedom is on the horizon. We've come a long way to find it. You gotta believe me when I say to know where you're going, to know where you're going. Where you come from, long way to find it. Where you come from,
and nothing is helping. I don't want to go on these medications that are going to make me depressed. But this pain is not bearable anymore.
It's been a couple weeks since I was diagnosed with a rare condition called Ramsay-Hunt syndrome, which affects the nerves in this side of my face, creating temporary paralysis on one side.
And I just want to document this process because I'm having extreme highs and lows in my life at the moment. There's no time to slow down. But I may not have a choice.
It's been a bit of a crazy time with everything that I've been through for the past month. But now we're on the way to the airport for my European tour.
Ciao. Bye. Going to the motherland. Okay. Motherland.
Moment that I'll share with you. A couple months ago, I was dealing with some health issues, and I woke up one day and half my face was paralyzed temporarily, but it has been such a journey of realizing that I am worth so much more than what I present on face. You know, and so much more than
Milan, I have never taken my sunglasses off during this tour because I've been afraid of how that looks. But I'm gonna do that tonight.
When I lost my biggest smile, the one that showed my teeth, I had to figure out how to love what's underneath. It's kind of crooked now, like one side's incomplete. The doctor told me Botox could make that more discreet. But there's something kind of pretty about my squinted eye, the way I can't lift my cheek no matter how I try. One day I'm gonna laugh without covering my face. I'll throw my head straight back so that God can see I'm brave. To some, small things are big, and to other, big things small. Humanity is polarity, and that connects us all. And of all the things I've lost, this is the last thing that I thought would make me feel more grateful for everything I've got. When I lost my biggest smile, the one that showed my teeth, I finally figured out how to love what's underneath.
We're gonna literally have a session where we just listen through top to bottom. Like, that may not be right now, but the last poem moment.
My freaking favorite poet on the planet, Dominique Christina.
If there could be any person that I would love to culminate this project, it would be her. And I posted this video on Instagram, and I was like, who do you guys envision on this project with me? And she commented on it. She said, me. I sent her a message like, you actually have to be on my project. Like, I'm not kidding. It's either you or nobody. So she was down. After hearing 2 or 3 songs, just made the perfect summation of inspiration for the album. Attraction, like forces combining to make this moment possible. I can't attest, in any other way. That's what it was. Some divine intervention. So she called it Aquarian, and the first time I heard it, I sobbed. So, here we go.
For all that is above and below, for all that is in front of me and behind me, for all the many versions of myself that I have astonishingly been. For the grandmothers who watch over from the other side, the warrior women from whom we come, whose blood is our blood, whose story is preamble to our story. For the night sky and the will to write it, for the doors we opened and the ones we closed, let me be in service of my gifts. Let me climb to the top of things. Let me rise even over myself in all this too much muchness. Let my hands remain open. Let my heart, this blood corsage, be the sound of my own becoming. Let me be my own altar, my own temple, my own ritual, my own ceremony, my own answered prayer. Let my becoming be, let my magic be, let these songs be seismic. Let them be born again and again in me. What matters in the end is how I declare myself, so I say holy, colossal, complicated, impossible, leaping, leaping, free. May the ancestors be pleased, and may we never forget to say their names.
You have to turn the camera on yourself right now. Like, this is the ultimate hymn. You know? It's like the words you just say to remind yourself to, like, keep going. You know? And it came from her, this, like, vessel who does not know me or my story. I don't know her and her story. But collectively, like, we know each other's somehow. It's really wild. And I think that's, like, your story too. It's like your story, Adrian. Like, that's everybody's story. It's like this little offering, which is just doesn't need any more words. It's done. That's it. That's how it ends.
That's what you need to always remember. Who you are as a person. Who you are as a person. The rise up. Look at that persona. You know what I mean? That warrior has to come forth. You know what I mean? Always remember who you are. My God. And be strong in whatever personality, persona you're taking on. Be strong in that. Are you there? Are you there?
Good evening, everybody. Thank you for being here. Your presence means a lot. I feel it. It's an honor to be here to share the space with you and to bring this message to you, a very important one that we're all here to acknowledge and to celebrate. You know, as that song said, I'm not afraid, I'm awake. I guess we made it out. You know, we're here, we get to tell the story, and that's something that I don't take for granted. So thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing space.